Hello guys, I'm extremely happy to be part of this Instagram live today. I'm Sonmoni Borah. I belong to 99 batch of IAS Chhattisgarh cadre. Presently I'm working as Secretary, Water Resources Department and Religious Trusts and Endowment Department. So relax, whatever I'm going to tell you is entirely based on my experience, and there is no magical tricks to crack UPSC. Let me tell you that you have already cleared the mains, the most crucial part of the examinations. So now it is only the tail is left. So you are much nearer to your goal, and if you follow certain things, so you are through. And I'm quite sure that most of you are going to crack this time. So first of all, congratulations that you have cleared the mains, and I wish all the very best for your interview, which is coming commencing from next month. I think today what we can do, the structure could be like this. First of all, let me speak few minutes about certain points which I have jotted down for you. Later on, probably we can take up QA from your side if I missed out some of the points. See, as I told you earlier, you have already cleared your mains. So that means the elephant is almost in your control. So what is left out is the tail. So be very calm, composed, believe in yourself, trust yourself. The interview part is, of course, it's not to be taken very lightly. It is ultimately going to decide which of the service you are going to get, because the interview marks is very, very important. In our time, it used to be 300. Now I got to learn that it is now 200. But nevertheless, the importance of interview remains extremely important. In interview, what the board tries to see is your personality. So it is more or less what you are. So that is thoroughly examined to a great extent by this board. So first of all, I'd like to give you my first advice, that be yourself. Don't try to be someone else, or try to be the kind of a person with whom you are not comfortable. So be yourself, be very composed, be very disciplined, be courteous, and that should be reflected on your face as well as your body language. So when you enter the room, you should be very polite, very courteous, and you should enter with a very smiling face, because that is a reflection of your inner self. So what is there inside you, whatever you are thinking, whether that is a negative thought or positive thought, it is reflected ultimately on your face. So if you go with a smiling face, with lot of confidence, self-confidence, being very courteous, so your first impression goes well with the board. Many ask, which color or what kind of cloth you should dress that day. So it should be simple. Nothing extraordinary that you should go for some brand or something. It's not like that. The color should be eye-soothing, because it should not be so colorful dress that you wear. And whatever dress you wear should be very comfortable, as well as it should be neat, clean. So ultimately the dress carries your personality. So whatever outfit you are comfortable with, you should wear that, and it should carry your personality to a large extent. So this is my first advice. Second is, as a person, you have different facets. You have different dimensions of your personality. The board sometimes, most of the times, they try to know through your answer different facets of your personality. Most of the boards will try to make you comfortable because they know that you are coming for the interview, you are already a bit nervous, and you may be thinking so many things are going inside your mind and brain. So most of the boards will try to make you comfortable. But once it is done, so some of the boards will try to know your hobbies. So my advice would be, whatever biodata you have provided, so it will be very thorough with it. Whatever hobbies you have talked about or mentioned, so you should have a decent knowledge about your hobbies, even if you may be a kind of expert in that hobby, but then the domain is required. So to some extent, you can always have a kind of domain knowledge, decent domain knowledge about your interest and about the things you have mentioned in your biodata. It is also about to know your different views or your interest about different kind of social issues. So maybe on that day itself, or maybe few days prior to your interview, or maybe last year, or maybe anything. So any kind of social issues, socio-economic issues may crop up during your discussion, and the board will try to know your opinion. But when you give your opinion, you should be very balanced. The balance means you must inculcate your analytical ability, where you must analyze the things, the events, the pros and cons, merits, demerits, and you should try to give a balanced opinion about that issue. That is very important. So if you are taking side of one of the like rightist or leftist or middle way, so anything in extreme may not be taken well by the board. So my advice would be that you must try to give a very balanced view, but that is possible only when you analyze the things from different perspectives. Your attitude, your self-confidence is also equally important. So you not only carry your opinions to the board, but you also carry your attitude. So attitude and arrogance is a very thin line. So while discussing about any issue or topic, so you should not sound, or you should not give kind of an impression that you are very arrogant. Of course, where you have a conviction about anything, about any issue, about any stand, of course that should be reflected. But conviction must not be seen as a kind of arrogance. So it's a very thin line, and if you work on this, so you'll get to know that where exactly you should stop, and what kind of stand actually you should take for a particular issue. So these things are very important so far as your personality is concerned. Many participants sometimes ask, like, how many hours one should study. I always say that it is not all about how many hours you study. It is all about the quality time you spend in your studies. That is more important. And quality of time in studies means that how attentively you give yourself to a particular subject or the topic or whatever you study. So this is very important. About sleeping is equally important. Why I'm saying so? Because see, for each and everything, you have kind of solution to it. But for your body and mind, for a fresh mind, for a rejuvenated mind, for a thoughtful process, you must have a proper sleep. Many ask, I mean, how many hours? It could be 6 to 8. I'd rather advise that you must sleep for at least 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours. That is quite good enough. If you have a proper sleep, good sleep, sound sleep, then you will be able to concentrate on your subject, on your studies with more vigor and more attentively. So, if you have a good sleep, then of course you are fresh enough to memorize all the stuff. So it is extremely important that you sleep properly and for a quite good long time. Other dimension about studies I'd like to give you is that we must have kind of a spiritual, to some extent, dimension to our preparation. So I would advise that, I know many of you must be going to temples or to prayer meetings regularly. So whatever you do, I would advise that at least, even if you can't go to a temple or to that kind of place, but at least in your own room or own residence, wherever it is possible, just pray for a few minutes. This prayer could be also you can do bit of reflection. Otherwise, many things which you are memorizing or which you have already taken into yourself, so may not be refreshed at times. So it's very important that you do little bit of prayer, little bit of meditation or reflection on yourself. So this will boost up your moral integrity, as well as it will give you a lot of confidence, self-confidence. And it's very significant. And later on, not only for this interview, if you make it a habit of your own life, that you engage yourself few minutes for prayer, as well as for some reflection or meditation, so it will definitely help to grow your personality in a different direction. And this will be reflected wherever you go, it will be reflected. So my advice would be to have good sleep, prayer, meditation or reflection for some time. I myself do not only prayer or meditation or a bit of reflections. What I do, I'm just sharing with you. Sometimes when you think of your own parents or someone you really respect or love, so they really inspire you a lot. Or what you can do, your Istadevta. Suppose someone is Krishna Bhakt, someone is maybe Hanuman Bhakt. So whenever you take their name in silence, in prayers, so they really inspire you a lot. And this you can always do in your own life itself. So my advice will be, in the morning when you get up, you can always do the prayer or self-reflection, as well as you can always pray to your Istadevta in silence. So when you enter your room, the very day when your interview will take place, so you just remember him, whomsoever you accept as your Istadevta, just remember him. So he'll be with you all the time. The blessings of your parents, blessings of your relatives, blessings of your teachers, and blessings of your Istadevta will be with you. So you are already equipped with so many blessings. So your self-confidence will rise like anything. And I presume that this kind of blessings do really matter in such occasions of your life. Next advice I'd like to give you is that while discussing about any topic or any issue with the board, never try to give your reaction. Many times, because of our own background, maybe socio-economic background, maybe the school where we study, maybe the college where we study, maybe the socio-cultural group to whom we belong. So sometimes to a particular topic or issue, we might react. So my advice would be that don't react, you try to respond. And the board might give you some situations sometimes, or in life you will face so many situations, not only this interview, where you need to respond. Don't react. Wherever possible, avoid giving your reaction. Rather try to give a response. So it's not difficult. You can always give a good response. You know that story of the cockroach, like in a cafeteria where there were many ladies, and the cockroach goes to one lady and sits on her shoulder and on the dress, and she's panic. Then it flies to another lady. The lady is again panic. But then ultimately it goes to another person. In the restaurant, and that person looks at the movement of the cockroach and ultimately deals with the cockroach. So many times there may be many issues, many events, many subjects, they may come up in your life or maybe in the interview for which you may not be prepared enough. But don't react. Just try to understand and then respond accordingly. So this will be my another advice. My another advice would be honest, be truthful, don't bluff. Because the board is consist of all the experts in their domain subjects. So if you try to be over smart, or if you try to lie or be dishonest in your answers, so you'll be caught immediately. So it is not taken otherwise. If you say that I don't know the answer, or maybe you know the answer, but at that very moment it is not coming to your mind, so you are not able to express or tell the answer at that moment. So you may be very candid and frank, and you can tell that at this moment I am unable to tell you, or I'm not aware of this, or I don't know the answer. So be very frank and candid. Don't try to bluff. So if you bluff, you are caught, and it will give a very wrong impression about yourself. Sometimes, like from today till your interview, so it is a long period. So I would advise, since it is a long time, and if you see the entire process of UPSC, it takes almost 1 year. So it's a long time. So you need to be physically fit enough to go through the long process of examinations. And now also you cannot afford to fall ill. So my advice will be that proper sleep, proper dieting, balanced diet, good food, and don't try to take any risk about your food or anything, so that if you fall ill, so all your preparation will go in waste. So be very careful, take care of your health, have proper sleep, and if required, like what even I used to do, like 7 to 10 days after intensive study, so you can take a break. So that break could be for few hours, or that break could be for 1 day, whole 1 day. You don't study that day, you relax. If you're fond of movies, go for movie, or if you're fond of any other hobbies, just go or relax or just do some reflections. It's very important because mind is something, it cannot be stressed out. If it is stressed, then it will reflect in your studies as well, or for interview, of course. So you need to have a very fresh mind for the interview. So that is possible when you take care of mind and brain and the body. So please give importance to your body, about your food and diet and your sleep. Last, what I like to tell you that some of you may be giving the examination or interview in other than English language. So be confident. It's not all about the language. It is the depth of your knowledge, depth of your presentation, depth of your personality, which matters. UPSC gives us a bunch of beautiful opportunities. Some go to IAS, some go to IPS, foreign service, and many other elite services, be it railways, be it customs, revenues, audit and accounts. It's a plethora of beautiful opportunities. If you would like to know that what exactly happens other than IAS or something, I'd rather say all these services give you incredible opportunities to serve the nation, to serve your society, or to serve your working area wherever you are allocated or stationed or given this opportunity. The only difference for with the other services and IAS, IPS or foreign service would be that for your initial years in IAS and IPS especially, you work in the districts, very small locations, and you have very different kind of opportunity and experiences. Whereas the other services, they work mostly in a bigger area, metros mostly. But if you take out this initial 10, 12 years of your service, so we all end up in the same place. Like today I started working in the secretariat, tomorrow I may be working in Government of India. So all other services, they can also go on deputation to Government of India or take up assignments of different ministries or different hues. So end of the day, all the civil services together make the Indian bureaucracy beautiful. So don't think about that this is the only service I'm looking for, or if I don't get this, so what will happen? So don't think all these things, because end of the day, all the services are part of the Indian bureaucracy, and each service is equally important, and each service gives you ample opportunities to try different things, different dimensions, different dynamics. So at this moment, don't be bothered about like which service you are going to get or what will happen in an interview. Give your 100% to yourself. Forget about rest of the things. You just think that you are already through the mains. So it is just a small fraction of the things left out. So if you start thinking in this way, I think you are already through. So if you still have some weaknesses, and if you think that my preparation is not good enough, or other things, so somewhere mentally it might give you some disadvantage. So I would say you have enough time to prepare yourself for the interview. Be yourself, be very confident, trust your Istadevata. If you believe in someone, so enough blessings are already there for you. And I think you must at this moment concentrate on your studies, read newspapers, even you can see television. I mean, there is nothing sacrosanct that you can do this or that, or this is not done, or this is restricted. Nothing is there. Be just relaxed. I did my BA from Delhi University and MA from Jawaharlal University. So for interview, I did not go to any coaching center. But what we did, since I come from Northeast, from Assam, so we formed small groups in campus itself. So many issues pertaining to Northeast or Assam. So we used to have some kind of upper hand, being from there, like you know much better about those issues or problems. So we used to have kind of mock interview with some of the some of the colleagues those days. So where in these topics we used to give them tips or advice, and some of the other topics which they actually studied well. So during discussion, so all these aspects, the points came out. So I think among yourselves you can form small groups where you can take up one topic or one issue, and if you start doing that also, so next 15 days you end up studying at least 30-40 topics. So it will give a good dimension into your domain knowledge. And if some of these topics come up during our interview, so we'll be able to give different aspects to the issue, or views or opinions about this. So now let me see if you have any question left out, which hello sir, my question is, does percentage of graduation matters? No, it doesn't matter. You just need to pass your graduation. Study in daily hours, which time? It all depends on you. Most of the students love studying in the night. Even daytime is equally important. But traditionally, it is believed that the dawn or early morning, when you study, you memorize very easily. So it all depends on you. If you are comfortable studying in daytime, so please do. But in any case, you need to, because next few days before your interview, you need to study at least 7-8 hours a day. So it all depends whenever you are comfortable. Materials with prepare meditation. Yes, meditation do help. Meditation, it's more about reflections about your thought process, thinking process. So if you do it properly, it will be reflected on your face, and it will be easily, the board can easily find out from your opinions or from your face reading itself. Optional, see, it all depends again with you. If you are comfortable enough about the subject you studied in graduation, so you can take up that also. But it's not a big deal. I mean, you can always go for another subject which you never studied, because you need to have a proper preparation for at least 6 months to 1 year. So if you feel comfortable that this is the subject